Hello everybody, welcome to Border Torque. My name's Chris. Today I'm introducing Yrla, my 2017 Volvo V40. Good morning YouTube, welcome to Border Torque. I'm Chris. In today's video we're introducing this, which is my 2017 Volvo V40 named Yrla. Yrla was registered new in March 2017 and I bought her in November 2017 with 10,000 miles on the clock. I've owned her since and I've added 210,000 to that, so just last night she clicked over onto 220,000 miles. I bought this car as a daily driver. I was in my previous job, I was doing a lot of travelling for work, and that's what this car was bought for, and as you can tell by the mileage on it now, I have definitely done plenty of travelling in this car. In today's video, what we're going to do, we're going to take a closer look around the car, just let you know what the car is, get to know a little bit about it, and tell some of my story while I've had the car. So I'm going to start the tale here at the front with the renowned Thor's Hammer LED headlights. These were first introduced on the second generation XC90, and then the V40 here was the second vehicle to get these Thor's Hammer LED lights. These lights also flash as indicators when you put the indicators on. Like so. And if I come back a bit to show the other side, you can see the DRL still on the other side. So looking here at the front, you will see here that we've got a stainless steel mesh grille on this car. That's because I hit a deer and smashed the grille, and I decided at the time that the cost of buying a new replacement just wasn't worth it, so I put some stainless steel mesh in the grille instead, and I've grown to quite like it, to be honest. It is a little lopsided with having the high mileage on this side and then the little R design on this side, but I've gotten used to it. So this car, it's a R Design Pro. So the R Design Pro came with 18-inch alloys, and it also gets a lot of the silver trim on the mirrors and around the windows, and it has these deeper bumpers. The little skirt on the bottom of this one is something that I added just to protect the bumper when you're going over curbs. Now this example is fitted with 18-inch snowflake wheels from the Mark III Focus ST. I bought them in the December after I bought the car to use them as winter wheels, but as time's gone on I've just started fitting all season tyres, and these are on the car pretty much all the time. They're badly in need of a refurb. Now if you look at the side styling, you can probably see hints of Focus in it. The V40 is based on the Ford Focus platform, so that's not entirely a surprise. It was also developed while Volvo were still owned by Ford. So if you think it looks a little bit Focus-like, that's why. Come round to the back here, we've got the big swooping tail lights that go up the side of the boot. On these, the LED strip starts up here near the top, sweeps down and out the way and into here. There's little marker lights on the side here. Then these are the brake lights, reverse light and the indicator, and then the rear fog lights in the bumper there. Additional lights on this one, I've added these up below the spoiler. These are little reversing spotlights just to help me see when I'm reversing up my driveway. Now you'll see there are two fog lights on the bumper, and indeed even in this one, I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but there is a bulb inside there. But despite that, only the offside lamp works. I don't know if that's configured in software or what, but yeah, only one of those fog lights comes on. Also note on the back here, we've got the diffuser at the bottom of the rear bumper. Again, that's an R Design part, and we've got the twin exhausts, and on this one I've fitted different tailpipe trims. I don't think they're genuine Akrapovic because they came from AliExpress. The original Volvo ones were quite renowned for disappearing apparently, although mine never did. I just swapped them because I preferred the look of those carbon style ones. So something I'm going to point out is the way that the waistline is quite high on this, and especially at the rear door. The waistline kicks up there, and I'm mentioning that now because that will come into play in the interior shots. And yes, this passenger side wing is dented. That was me. I've got a tilt and scissor lift, and I was leaning against the car to try and tilt it. I had the front end down, the back end up, and I was trying to get the front end up, and as I leant in, I bent the wing with my bum. So yep, there's a quick walk around of the exterior. I think I've mentioned everything that I wanted to mention. Let's have a quick look at the interior. So you'll have to excuse the mess. I've been out filming and my mucky feet have made a mess over the sill plate there. But anyway, this is the interior of the car. So we'll take a little tour of the interior, and we'll start here on the door where we've got silver trim, silver door handle. We've got all your usual sort of buttons, 4 electric windows, automatic down and up on them all, locking button for the rear windows, wing mirror adjustment, and this is to lock and unlock the doors. Looking across a little to the left, the headlight switch here might look familiar. It's used on Land Rovers as well as Volvos. We've got the off position, side lights, auto position, which it's never used on this car, and the headlight position. At this time of year, quite often it's just left in the headlight position because they just come on and off automatically with the ignition. And obviously I've got a little phone holder in the vent there. If I climb aboard, and I'll close the door to close out some of the wind. Mileage. So there we have it, the current mileage, 220,073 miles. Or in European, that's 354,180 kilometres. On the steering wheel here, we've got buttons for cruise control and the speed limiter. These are for adjusting the speed up and down. That's a cancel button, that's resume. On this side, we've got a button for voice control, which I've never had any success with. An exit, that's for the menus in the infotainment screen. Volume up and down, and for changing the track. The horn, decent horn on this car. Over to the right here, we've got the wiper stalk. We've got push up for a mist. We've got off, intermittent, first speed and second speed. This dial adjusts the speed of the intermittent. This button engages the auto wipers, and what I like about this car is although it's got auto wipers, they default to being off. And apparently that's a protection for in colder countries where you don't want the automatic wipers coming on and tearing the wiper blades to bits. On the other side, we've got the indicator stalk, which is up and down like so. This dial is for flicking through the dashboard, as you can see. There's a button on the end for exiting menus and another button on this end for OK, so you would press that to go in through the dashboard menu. You can reset the trip computer, you can check the service status, you can check the oil level, you can change contrast modes when the engine's running, you can change themes, which I'll show you in a moment, any messages, belts and doors, because I'm sitting in the car and haven't got my seatbelt on. And back to the trip computer. To the left of the dashboard here, you'll see this silver button. This is an addition I put in. I did have an LED light bar on, and this is to be able to turn that on and off independently of the main beams. I don't have the light bar on just now, but the switch is still in the dash. And then these are for, the top one is a side light indicator. The bottom one is main beam. And the middle one is supposed to be for dip beams, but I've never ever wired that up. And then this one here is the button to start the engine. If I press the clutch in, and you'll see the rest of the dash comes to life. So we'll quickly look at the themes in the dashboard here, because you can change how it looks. So on this just now, we've got the performance theme on, which has got this red theme, and that carries over onto the infotainment screen. You can go into the menu and change that. There's also eco, which has got this greeny coloured screen, and you've then got the rev counter over here, you've got an eco guide on the left and then a speedo in the middle, or you can change it to elegance, which gives you temperature on the left, speedo in the middle, and the revs on the right there. But I actually prefer the performance one, which gives you the big rev counter around the outside, temperature on the left, you've got a power gauge here, and you've got a digital speedo. Just to show you those themes on the middle screen, that's performance, that's eco, and that's elegance. So you'll see the colours from that screen come across onto the infotainment screen as well. But we'll put it back on performance since that's the one that I prefer. Up here in the infotainment, you'll see at the bottom here we've got the temperature for the climate control. I've got it set to auto climate. If you adjust the fan, it shows you the fan speed in the bottom there. We'll put it back on auto, and then just here you'll see we've got the little indicator for the heated seats. As you press the heated seat button, you'll see that that changes. If the phone would blooming focus on it, like so. Moving down from that, we'll switch the engine off just now. Moving down from that, we've got two vents in the middle here and the hazard light switch. Got Little Joe, little feature in my car these days. Add this in here, this slot below the vents, that's not just a styling thing, that's actually a slot for a CD. How many cars of this sort of new age have a CD player? Below that we've got the floating dashboard, which has got this space behind it. On this car, this dial does your volume. This one is for flicking through menus. This one is the fan speed, and this dial adjusts the temperature. Now, when we looked at the dashboard there, we had two temperatures displayed, and you had a line under each of them, like so. So if you can see here, we've got a line under the 22 on both sides. If I press that L and R button, the line goes off the left hand side one, so that's only adjusting the right hand temperature. That one's adjusting the left hand temperature. That's adjusting them both. That's a feature that I've got to be honest, I'm not that keen on in this car. It's a little bit finicky for adjusting the temperature. I prefer the setup the V60s have, which is both of these are temperature, and then there's a fan dial on the dash here to adjust the speed of the fan. Now this bit, I think it does look a little bit cluttered. There's a lot of buttons there, but it's easy to figure out what each one's for. You've got, radio, media, telephone, navigation, the My Car menu. Got this button to toggle the air conditioning on and off. Heated windscreen front, and it has got a heated screen, and rear. These buttons adjust where the airflow is going. That's your recirculation button. These are changing the track on the stereo, and obviously the phone buttons for dialing numbers. At the bottom here we've got the button for switching off the start-stop, which is something that I never do. I actually don't mind the start-stop system. Behind that we've got a 6-speed manual gearbox with reverse, across and back. It's a nice easy box to shift with. It's nice and light. The clutch is nice and light. It's also nice and easy to find each of the gears when you're not stationary. Behind that one we've got proper handbrake lever, and down here we've got two cup holders and a 12-volt socket, and there's a little cover to go over that. Behind that is a little armrest which can slide back and forward, or you've got some storage underneath it, and in here is another 12-volt socket. Over, if I can get the phone to adjust, over towards the left we've got the glove box, which is full of junk. Got batteries, paracetamol, plasters, the usual sort of junk you keep in a glove box, and CDs I should note. Then over towards the left hand side, the passenger door's just got a single single window switch, obviously because it only does that one window. If you look on top of the dashboard, where's the gimbal going here? If you look on top of the dashboard, little monkey superhero thing, that was given to me on my first Father's Day before my daughter was even 1. So that's lived in the car ever since then as well. If we're going to look at a tea shelf, it's reasonable. It's not exactly flat. It is kind of sloped here, but you could set your cup of tea up there if you're a Furious Driving fan. For the hub nut fans, I suppose we better do a wiper test. There are 3 screen loss jets with 2 jets each on the bonnet there. And we've got a decent wiping performance, or it isn't actually a triangle of doom, although we do get dribbles coming from the top. Come on phone, focus on it. There we go. So we'll try that again. So there is overlap, but you do get dribbles coming down the screen, like so. That's more of a problem when you're stationary like I am just now. When you're moving, you don't really get that as much. Need to quickly cover this. This is interior lights in the front here. So we've got map light buttons on either side. You've got auto, which controls it with the door. You can manually switch it on. And then here in the middle is a little submarine light, which you can change the colour for. So here we are inside the menu in the centre console. On the infotainment screen, you've got an option in here where you can change the colour of the ambient light. I've got it set to glacier blue, but you can have purple, blue, green, red, yellow, warm white or cool white, or you can have it where it adjusts by itself to the temperature. But just now I've got it set to the blue here, and that casts a little blue light down onto the gear stick here. So if we climb aboard the back, you can see that both the front seats have got little map pockets in them, and I've got a bottle of window cleaner and de-icer in them. Yeah, if we jump aboard, and again we'll close the window. Excuse my bag of rubbish in the front seat there. So for me, sitting comfortably, there's space. There's decent enough knee room here at the front. Over on the right hand side here on the door, I've got a button for my electric window. I've got a silver bit trim, which is all messy by the looks of things. I'll need to give that a clean. And door handle. But this here is why I was mentioning the high waistline. The rear windows are actually rather small, so truthfully, I feel it's a little bit claustrophobic in here. I just think that there's not much window height here, and it makes it feel just a little bit dark in the back. But since I'm never in here, that's not a huge concern. Another issue with the back is that technically this here is a third seat. As you can see, it's got 2 seat belts there, one here that I'm sitting on. But the reality is this bit in the middle here is not comfortable for sitting on. So you've also got an armrest here, and that's the better way to use it. Just use it as the armrest, like so. I say that because as a seat, because this, I keep adjusting this the wrong way, because this bit in the middle here is so hard, it's just not comfortable to sit on for any length of time. As well as that, at the front here is the little cup holder bit, and again that's quite hard as well to be sitting on. So I don't recommend this as being a 5-seater car. I would say it's a 4-seater car in reality, unless you want to have a 5th person that you really don't like. Now in the back again, we've got 2 interior lights, which we've got little map light buttons for, and we've got the little blue or the multicolour light. Again, this one adjusts with the whatever the front's set to. Over there we've got grab handles and a clothes hook, and this is for hooking in, I believe it's a dog guard. There's another one on this side of the car here. Not something that I've ever used. Turning around, we've got these headrests which can fold away for folding the seat down. So yeah, and just to prove it, there is the middle seat belt, but I wouldn't put anybody in that seat unless you don't like them very much. At the back of the car now for a quick look in the boot. And the boot is typically hatchback sized, I would say. You've got little hooks in the back of the seat for ISOFIX fittings. So yeah, you've got the clips for the ISOFIX fittings. Some V40s came with a dual height floor, but this one doesn't, it's just a fixed height floor. I've put a boot protector mat in here just to try and protect it from all the tools and rubbish that I would carry about. There is one boot light on the left hand side. There's not a matching one on the right hand side, but what you do get is this one up here on the tailgate. If I can do this one-handed, I want to highlight that under the floor here we've got a space saver spare wheel. Now on the very last of the V40s they used the space saver spare wheel space to put the AdBlue gubbins, so you've got the AdBlue tank and the pump all under here. But I prefer the idea of having a space saver, at least when you get a puncture, not if. When you get a puncture you're able to swap the wheel and get going again. This space saver's actually done quite a few miles on this car in the time that I've had it. So yeah, so that's the boot. Next up we'll have a look under the bonnet. So here we are, we're at the front. The little lever to release the bonnet is on this passenger side here. So what we've got under here is a 2 litre 4-cylinder twin turbo diesel engine. It uses common rail diesel injection with IART or IART technology, and that stands for Intelligent Accuracy Refinement Technology. So what this does is it sends fuel up to the injectors up to 2,500 bar. It can inject in the space of 1/1000th of a second. It's really quick. It can do multiple injections per stroke as well. Coupled to this engine is an M66 6-speed gearbox. I think this is shared with a lot of Ford models and some Land Rover models as well, I believe. So yeah, that's under the bonnet. There's nothing too much to see, it's all plastic. One of the repairs that I've had to do on this car is just down here. We had to replace the air conditioning pump. The air con had stopped working. I've had to replace the battery because the battery failed, which was as much my own fault as the car's fault really. I left something plugged in and totally drained the battery. Other repairs this has had, I've had 2 inlet manifolds replaced because the swirl flaps inside the inlet manifold get stuck. I've had to put a clutch in it at 150,000 miles. The clutch I had to do because the slave cylinder failed. It covered everything else with brake fluid, so I had to replace the clutch because of that, and I just got the dual mass flywheel done while we were in there. Other than that, it's been routine stuff, engine oil and filters and timing belts. It's now had 2 timing belt replacements and 1 water pump replacement in the time that I've had it. And I think that covers everything we need to say under the bonnet. So we're out now, we're driving in Yrla, and I'm going to give you a bit of an opinion piece on what I think of driving this car. So I think it goes without saying, I've owned this car now for 8 years, so I rather like driving it. I find it extremely comfortable to drive. I can drive from the Scottish borders down into the Midlands or even further and feel like I've hardly driven at all. The seats are really comfortable and supportive, and it's just a comfortable place to be. So we'll start with the acceleration, which is pretty good. So I'm currently doing 30 miles an hour in 3rd gear. Put the foot down, and once turbo spools up, we're off. Now, I've mentioned that the turbo is perhaps not working as well as it should be. That's a repair I intend to undertake on this car. I'm not sure when I'll get that done, but I intend on swapping the turbo because I think the larger of the 2 turbos is just not pulling its weight anymore. So with this car, when you get to sort of 3,000 RPM, the power just disappears. However, that aside, because I tend not to take it over 3,000 RPM very often, it's not that great an issue. For your normal day-to-day driving, you're normally in the range of 1,500 to 2,500 revs most of the time, so you never notice it. Steering, I find the steering in this car is really accurate. It is really well weighted. there's never any concern with the steering that it's going to do something unexpected. Yeah, I'm going to have a mention of the suspension here. So in general, if you're driving on nice roads, the suspension's not that much of a problem. But when you get to like rural roads like this, where it can be a bit bumpy, between the 40 profile tyres and the suspension setup on this car, it can be a little bit harsh. So, you know, I find I'm constantly on the lookout for potholes and damage to the road because I just want to avoid it. You know, one of the problems that I've had with this car is it's really prone to puncturing tyres in potholes, especially when it's got winter tyres or all seasons on it, as I have just now. And indeed, that's something that's just recently happened. I hit a pothole in Midlothian and punctured a tyre. So yeah, it's something that I have to bear in mind, especially this time of year, because the potholes are worse at this time of year. But as I say again, when you're on a decent road, the suspension's perfectly fine. It's not too harsh. It really is when you get to something that's really bumpy that you notice it. You can maybe see I'm on a rural road, so I am getting bounced about a little bit because the road's not exactly what you would call smooth. I'm having to keep kicking around the camera here because I've got it where I've got it set up. I need to keep round past you when I'm trying to take a right hand turn, just to keep an eye on the road. That sun's surprisingly bright. It's strange to see it at this time of year, especially when, as you'll have seen from other parts of the video, it's been raining today. So, you know, a lot of this video has been recorded in the pouring rain, and now it's dry, there's blue skies and the sun's out. Because Scotland, I wouldn't have it any other way. Power! It holds the road really well. Being based on the Focus platform, the handling's just really, really good. It's really predictable, and you can throw it into corners and be pretty confident you're going to come out the other side. The gears, the 6-speed gearbox, is nice and light. It's really easy to shift. The gears are all precisely where you might expect them to be. Never have an issue of trying to go for third and ending up in fifth, for example. The gear selection is really nice and light and smooth on this car, so I've no complaints with that at all. Visibility, now forward's not too much of a problem. It's made a little bit worse by the wind deflectors that I've got on, especially in the driver's door. They kind of affect the visibility past the A-pillar, which is already quite thick with being an airbag setup. But besides that, visibility to the front's really good. I never find myself wanting more visibility from the front, so yeah, that's good. From the back, however, I'm going to say it's a little bit restricted with it's a slightly small back window, and with the two headrests, the view out the back through the interior mirror here is not the greatest. It's, you know, it's not bad, but I think it could be better. That being said, the two wing mirrors, especially the driver's one, give a great view behind. The driver's one's got a little element on it that it gives you a wider angle view, so that's really good. So yeah, visibility could be better, but far from being the worst. The LCD dials, on a day like today where it's still winter, the sun's a little bit low in the sky, sometimes the dials can end up being just invisible if the sun's hitting them at the right angle, as it is doing just now. But the rest of the year, it's never a problem. The dials are nice and clear. You can quite easily make out what they're telling you. It's just, like I say, just at this time of year where when the sun's coming in at just the right angle, it just ends up the dials, you just can't see them at all. What else can we say about this car for driving? Brakes. Yep, brakes, we'll need to mention this. So if I can find it, I'm going to share a clip here now where I had met a foreign motorcyclist on a back road, and he was riding on the wrong side of the road, and when I came round the corner doing about 50 miles per hour, suddenly found a motorcyclist, well, two motorcyclists on my side of the road, and I had to slam on. And yeah, I can confirm the brakes on this are brilliant. The front brakes on this one is they're 320mm discs. It's the same discs and calipers and pads as the Mark II Ford Focus ST225, and likewise the rear brakes, the discs and calipers and that are the same as the ST225 as well. So brakes are really, really good on this car. I'll just give an example just now because there's none coming, and we stopped really quickly. It maybe wasn't the best of tests because the road surface there was a little bit loose, so the ABS was having to kick in and help me out there. But we can still stop extremely quickly. What else could we say? Clutch, we'll mention the clutch. The clutch is nice and light on this car as well. Certainly, you know, if you compare the clutch on this to the clutch on the Alpha clutch is a lot heavier than the clutch in the Volvo. So yeah, it's nice and smooth, progressive, predictable. It's not heavy on your legs, so you know, when you're in traffic it doesn't become a chore having to stop and start. Your leg never gets tired with it. It's also quite good in the winter time. You can just slip the car into second gear and just let the clutch out nice and slowly and get yourself moving. I've never yet been stuck with this car. I've never felt that, you know, I'm not going to get out of this. It's, you know, the clutch is nice and progressive, so you can easily just gently bring on the power to get yourself moving in like snowy conditions. The headlights, the LED headlights, they are really, really good at night. I have to say that. They give a good spread of light. They give, you know, they do a good job of illuminating the road ahead. Certainly notice the difference jumping between this at night and James at night, with James's halogen headlights, which are also projectors on the dip beams. So yeah, you notice a big difference going from this to James. And I would say, when I've met other Volvo V40s with LED headlights on the road, I've never found them to be too bright coming towards me. Unlike, you know, some other manufacturers, especially, you know, some of the BMWs, for example, they can be really quite intense light and a little bit dazzling when they're coming towards you. Whereas with these, with the Volvos, and in particular this version of the V40, I've never found that when I've had one coming towards me. So on that sense, I'm going to rate the LED headlights pretty high, apart from the fact that if a light fails, you have to replace the whole headlight. It's not just a case of going and buying a bulb. That's the big downside of these LED headlights. And it's something that's constantly on my mind, that, you know, if one of those does go, I'm going to have to spend hundreds of pounds on a replacement headlight. Whereas if a bulb goes on James, it's a couple of quid for a new bulb, you know. That is the major downside with LED headlights, and the ones that are on this, I'm sure they're well into four figures from Volvo if you were to buy a new one. So yeah, fingers crossed, hopefully none of the headlights fail. So I want to finish off by saying thank you for watching. If you found this video interesting, please consider giving it a like. If you want to see what future shenanigans I get up to, why not subscribe to the Border Torque YouTube channel and click the notification bell and you'll get notified when I upload new videos. If you've got any comments, praise, criticisms, it's all welcome. Leave it in the comment section, just please keep it respectful. So this is Border Torque, I've been Chris, and I'm saying Tatty bye for now.